Continuation of Big Monday, presented by Delta, Big 12 country. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia. Iowa State comes to Morgantown to play the Mountaineers, and a lot of things are trending in the Big 12. Kansas closing in on a 12th consecutive regular season Big 12 title. And Joe Lunardi now has 7 Big 12 teams currently in the NCAAB tournament. Texas Tech has joined the fun. And, of course, everybody's front runner for Player of the Year, Buddy Hield of Oklahoma. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger along with Fran Frischella. And so, Fran, West Virginia went to Ames. They're now looking for a sweep of the 2-game series, having won out there. But Iowa State has Jameel McKay ready tonight.
Yes, they do, Brent. And this guy is a guy that can fortify their defense. He's high energy. Now, he's had some issues with the coaching staff, but he's back in uniform, and they need him, Brent. They need the energy. They need the ability to block shots at the rim. You'll love the way he can fly, run the floor, score in transition, and that's what they are looking for tonight. Now, let's take a look at how Bob Huggins is planning for success. Brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. It's Press Virginia, Brent. Watch Jonathan Holton on the basketball. 7'1" wingspan. He's going to try to really bother the inbounder and take away his vision. And if they don't get the trap early, they'll still maintain that full court pressure, especially now that Daxter Miles and Jayshawn Page are back and healthy, and they go 11 deep.
As we take a look at the Mountaineers starting lineup tonight, Daxter Miles available, as Fran told you, will not start. Devin Williams was a monster in Ames. 17 points and 18 rebounds in that win. Myers, Carter, Adrian, and Ahmad round out the Mountaineers starting lineup. Now with Jameel McKay on the bench and ready to go, it'll be Monte Morris, Matt Thomas, Deontay Burton, who's the newcomer of the week in the Big 12, George Niang, and Abdul Nader, and we get ready to go. Tracked down by Myers of the Mountaineers. First possession of the game.
With this small lineup by Iowa State, expect them to go inside to Williams early.
Niang on the low block battling, trying to stick with him. Now inside at 10 on the shot. Williams pops out. Niang right there. Now 5 on the shot. Carter pulls it up.
Here comes that pressure now. Watch Adrian. He knows he can double when he wants. Doesn't have to. Then they settle back in.
Hand off to Burton, number 30. Now Niang, 10. Beautiful feed to Nader, but they missed the shot, and there's a foul. So Nader will come up and shoot the game's first free throws. So here is Coach Steve Prohm, 3-3 over their last 6 games. Lost a couple of overtime games, tough ones on the road.
Nader's been red hot, Brent, as of late. The offense has not been the issue for the Cyclones. It's been the defense.
Shooting free throws. That happens frequently in a West Virginia game. In fact, they have allowed their opponents to shoot 405 free throws. The Mountaineers, on the other hand, have shot 402, an enormous number. That's conference play only. Myers loads Williams down low, missing on the shot. Burton with his first rebound. They give it back to the big fella running the floor, comes in left-handed. So he goes baseline to baseline.
One of the hard things about pressing Iowa State is they have multiple ball handlers, including 2 big men, Burton and Niang.
Mountaineers badly in need of some shooters on this team. Rattles out. And then goes hard to the floor and goes over.
West Virginia, timeout.
Gonna press West Virginia. Remember, Niang and Burton can really handle it in the open court. A good example right off the bat.
So Coach Huggins calls an early timeout. Unhappy with what he is seeing here in the early going. 4-2 here in the early going, and Huggins' friends took an early timeout,
and I think, Brent, it was one of the players on the floor, and Hugg said, "Why so early?" But West Virginia will maintain it now.
And they got a fresh 30-second clock, and so we know why he burned one here early. They keep possession.
Got a hold inside, yep. Brent, until McKay comes in the ball game, Cyclones don't have anybody that can guard Devin Williams, who had 17 points and 18 rebounds in the first meeting.
Deshaun Page has checked in, and there he is, rebounding an offensive putback for number 41. Thomas quickly over to the corner. Nader spots up three.
Excellent ball movement. Morris baited the double team, and that opened up the floor for Thomas and Nader. Take a look. Watch the double come. He's going to take his time. Find Thomas, who finds Nader. Excellent.
Page is the player to watch off the bench, and Nader is tracking him right now as Williams comes out. Burton's on him. Here is Carter. And now Adrian. Adrian's three ball. Long rebound. Battle for the loose ball. Iowa State tried to set a break. They tried to hit Niang.
Yep.
He and Coach Huggy Bear get a little tied up there, out of bounds.
That was just a deep out route, Brent. But Nader didn't connect on it.
You know, you mentioned deep out, Frank. I have to tell you, Devin Williams looks very much like a tight end to me as I watch number 41. I'm always looking for football players.
Are you getting a cut from the Chicago Bears or something?
I mean, I want you to take a look at number 41, the wingspan.
Yep.
Size of the hands, the way he handles the ball down in the low block. He's got good moves, spin moves.
But he's not going to be attending the NFL Combine next week, will he?
Here's Adrian driving. Wraparound's good.
This guy's played really well. They suspended Jonathan Holton for 4 games. Adrian, the local kid from Morgantown High, stepping up.
There he is, getting a hand on the ball, but Niang recovered it, and there's one of those awkward hoops that Niang is well known for.
It's like trying to hit a knuckleball, trying to block that shot.
Maybe he'll go to the NBA after all, Frank.
He hit a few of those in that first meeting.
Running down the floor, and that's Morris, and one.
This guy makes so few mistakes and so many right decisions. Monte Morris out of Flint, Michigan. And take a look now. He knows when to pass it. He's averaging about 16 a game in conference play. And I talked to my NBA friends. Brent, in a year deep with point guards, he's moving up that point guard list.
You mentioned Flint, Michigan. His mother and 11 others, many of them relatives, have traveled. There are the Morris dozen.
Yep.
Watching this game, there's Mom.
Number 11.
Couldn't complete the three-point play, and yanking it away, Elijah Macon off that bench. Macon pops out. Williams has given an early blow in this game. Phillip also is checked in. And Holton lost it, turned it over on the low block as he reports into the game. And Coach Huggins goes to his bench early and often uses up to 10 players in a game. One thing Iowa State has shown here in the early going, fresh legs and getting down that floor, Fran. And Thomas traveled. So we've got a timeout. Cyclones lead it early 11-8.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Delta. Keep climbing. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. And Applebee's 2 for $20 menu.
Well, seeing the Morris family reminds us of that terrible water situation in Flint. And Hy-Vee, a grocery store chain in Iowa, got together 11 trucks and sent water to those folks up in Flint. And that's, of course, in honor of Monte Morris's number 11. But that was a wonderful gesture.
Great story. And, of course, Flint, going back to the Johnny Orr days, Flint has produced Cyclones some great players. Jeff Grayer, Justice Thigpen, the late Barry Stevens, and now this guy who is a phenomenal point guard.
West Virginia basketball, they trail it by 3. We're approaching 5 minutes into the first half here in Morgantown.
It's the best 3-guard lineup that Bob Huggins has. All can score.
Phillip under pressure that time. Niang yanks away the defensive board, and they cut off a quick break, but the secondary break keeps coming. Nader with an open 3. That is a beautiful secondary break by Iowa State. They took away the early break, and they just kept coming at him. And Burton attacked, and they found an open man.
Boy, he's been red hot, Nader. Last 2 games averaging 25.
Mountaineers struggle in the half court looking for a shooter. Phillips misses, but it's an offensive rebound by Holton. Now Page, and this is tap back and good. So Holton does the work on the glass, and it's a 4-point game, and here come the Cyclones.
Yeah, this is a little bit more to West Virginia's liking.
And one. Page.
Good transition off the defensive rebound, but Jonathan Holton, huge offensive rebounds on that last possession, Brent. He averages more offensive rebounds. There you see the finish by Page, who is in conference play, averaging 16 points a game.
So we see that Jameel McKay up, and he will check in for the first time here tonight. So here comes number 1.
Interesting, Burton going out first. They'll rotate those big guys, but Burton did a great job against the press.
This is not a deep Iowa State team. Lob, McKay couldn't finish. Now the Mountaineers searching for the lead. Page for that lead, didn't get it. And McKay, even though he was pushed by Holton, came away with the defensive board.
McKay's got to affect this game for the Cyclones on both ends.
Traveling called on Morris. An effective double team, and I think Monte thought he might have been fouled on it.
Well, you don't see him turn it over. The last game they played, he had 10 assists and 0 turnovers, but a good trap there by the Mountaineers.
Phillip working in the backcourt for the Mountaineers. Over to Page now, number 12 and 5. Page on the attack, and Nader did a good job with him. Page, the pull-up J, good.
This guy can score. What an underrated player. Best 6 man in the league, but he really is a starter.
They've turned it over again. West Virginia basketball forced the turnovers. Phillip gets in low. Make it, yes.
Remember, Brent, in that last game, they dominated the lane. They're doing it right now.
Niang saves it. Nader out of the corner with a J, short into Phillip's hands. Miles, by the way, is out. Number 4 is on the floor, coming back from an injury. So Dexter Miles into the lineup here for West Virginia. West Virginia looking to extend this 9-0 run. They seize the lead. And Miles fires a 3. Yes! Welcome back. Morris lob, and McKay finishes it quickly.
When they've attacked that press, Iowa State has had good success and great on-the-money pass.
I can only hope, Fran, you and I, that the pace continues like this. This is very entertaining.
Oh, no question.
Page pull-up 3 off iron. Morris looking down that floor again.
He's got him.
Got McKay in low. Wholesale substitution here for West Virginia. We've got some great fans behind us, friend.
Yes,
Why don't you go back and visit them?
I'll check them out.
Come back. You want to do
I'll
that?
be back in a few minutes.
Hold your headset.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Brent. Oh, yeah. I'm with the Mountaineer Maniacs right here. This is one of the most intelligent student sections in the country. They do their homework. They've got this newsletter called Maniac Musings, where they keep track of all this information on the opponents, and it's some great stuff. They even have a bum of the game, and the bum of the game tonight is George Niang. It's fun. It's terrific. I've got Jason Olin, excuse me. He's the executive director. Ryan Morrison right here, the marketing director, and he's in charge of Operation Research. I got to ask you, Ryan, where do you get your information on the opponents?
Well, not many people know this, but we have informants at every Big 12 school that give us all kinds of information. Nobody hides anything from the Mountaineer Maniacs.
Let me tell you, we found out some interesting stuff, guys. How about this one? Matt Thomas, afraid of ladybugs. Keep that in mind tonight.
And some of the most fun was watching Iowa State read that newsletter following their practice today. It was great fun. So it's 20-16. Mountaineers with the lead. Niang, the bum of the game, has it stuffed. That student body loves that. Devin Williams, Huggy Bear substitutes a new lineup.
And that's important that you said that, Brent, because Bob Huggins loves having all this depth back.
Yeah, and he knows he's up against a thin team in terms of depth, and he can perhaps wear them down. Williams outside wants to drive it on McKay with the left hand. Niang off with the rebound. Jordan Ashton, number 23, is on the floor for the Cyclones. He's off their bench. Morris wants him to run the baseline, which he just did, and go up over the top now to Niang, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws.
You see the way Morris orchestrated that whole play? Ashton not a factor in the play. He cleared him out, was able to find Niang.
Morris indeed is the quarterback, and one of the better ones in the country.
Hey, Brent, I thought Bob Huggins said something interesting to us today. He said, our 10 or 11 has to be better than the other team's 10 or 11. And if we're only down at 9 or 8 healthy guys, we don't have the advantage. They have the depth advantage tonight.
Checking back in for Iowa State, Matt Thomas.
Nader now will take his break, and Matt Thomas returns. Ashton stays on the floor. Looks like they're setting up a little zone here.
Yep, little 2-3 zone.
Williams is going to drive it inside against it.
And that's part of the lack of depth that Iowa State has. You want to go inside and try to get McKay and Niang in foul trouble.
Thomas spot 3. Yes.
This guy's had a great junior year, Brent. Career 33% coming into the year. We've seen him guard Buddy Hield and some of the better guards in the league. He rebounds it and he's shooting it well.
This year in conference play, he's shooting 42% from three-point range for them. It's battle for the rebound, and it is McKay snatching it away. He has contributed after sitting out another game playing here tonight, and he's a factor on this glass. Morris, long three, and they regain the lead.
This guy's so confident. He's improved his shooting. The playmaking is par excellence. One of the best point guards in the country. Cool, calm, collected.
They come down the inside, and that's a good drive by Essa Ahmad, their fine freshman from the state of Ohio. Full court press after that basket, and Morris simply dribbles it away. Niang helps him out. Left hand, and they lead again.
He extended that left hand to the point where the shot blocker had no chance.
Carter pulls it up. Gets the long rebound. Attacks Morris. And Ahmad is fouled on the drive to the hoop.
Let's take a look at that last play by Monte Morris, Brent. He's a righty. Watch him get into the lane and just extends that ball out. Really well done. And Williams doesn't even challenge.
3 fouls against both Iowa State and West Virginia here in the early going, with Ahmad stepping up to the free throw line. So they're now 1 of 2. Iowa State is 4 of 5. Iowa State, I suppose, a big difference in this game is the fact that the Cyclones have hit all 4 of their 3-point shots. Nader leading the way with 2 of them.
How about Jayshawn Page about to come in, Brent? If Ahmad makes this shot, Bob Huggins will have subbed all 5 guys on the court for 5 more.
But instead he misses it, and McKay with that long rebound hustled out and puts it back in number 11's hands. Burton on the floor with McKay right now after his break. Niang will be refreshed on the bench, and McKay goes to work with the field goal, playing very, very well tonight. Holton, Burton comes out to him. Good pass to Ahmad inside, back to Phillip for an open 3, and he nails it. Good ball movement by the Mountaineers.
Yep, and a good presence of mind pass by Issa Ahmad. Stuck underneath, he found the open man.
Thomas now spots up. There's Ahmad pulling down a rebound, so the freshman starting to mature here for Coach Huggins. Bacon sends it back to the outside. Miles out of bounds. West Virginia basketball.
There's a timeout on the court.
So the 3 ball, the Mountaineers have hit 2 of them. And Phillips with that second one. And we have a 1-point lead by the Cyclones. So, Fran, let's take a look at BPI's ranking of the conferences powered by Microsoft Cloud.
Well, you love the fact that 8 teams now, Brent, in that top 50 of the BPI. And, of course, Texas will move up a little bit in the BPI tonight with that road win over feisty Kansas State.
7 minutes remaining here in the first half. 28-27, Iowa State with a 1-point. Check that. They trail it by 2.
When Phillip and Page are making shots, it allows West Virginia to set that pressure up.
Niang gives it back to Thomas. Burton outside at the perimeter. Turns it over. Lead pass. And Page makes like a receiver to the end zone. 32-28.
Well, we mentioned Phillip and Page come off the bench, but they're really starters for Bob Huggins.
Back into Morris's hands, and here's Burton. Burton now is having problems handling the basketball the last two trips. Phillip, three, not this time, into Nader's hands.
I don't think, Brent, Iowa State is running the floor like they can. This guy,
Monte Morris did.
He sure is. Young man that didn't have a scholarship from Michigan State. Michigan took Derek Walton Jr. over him. What a player.
Page, three, rattles out into Thomas's hands. Burton ships it to the corner, and they get it on the inside to Niang.
Basket by Niang.
Can you imagine a game with West Virginia only has 16 fouls combined?
Goes over to the Cyclones, and we want to remind you, Coach Tomorrow Super Tuesday, presented by Hotels.com. Avery Johnson has done a terrific job at Alabama in his first year, and they're going to be taking on Kentucky and guard Tyler Ulis, and that'll be followed by the Big Ten showdown, Michigan State and Ohio State. So a couple of good games on Super Tuesday. Thomas trying to get it up here, get some help from Morris in the backcourt. Pull up. Page, defensive rebound. Cut off from getting to the hoop, but look who's back. Williams, short, but his own miss, powers it in for the West Virginia lead.
Yeah, he got that ball so deep, even if McKay had jumped, he was going to push right through him.
Now Thomas, spot three, yes, regains the lead for the Cyclones.
Good decision by Morris. He got into the teeth of the defense, and he knew where Matt Thomas was.
Final 4 minutes, first half.
Pretty good execution both ways, Brent.
Page. Beautiful move. Working against the bigger McKay that time, and was able to pull the trigger. That was nicely done.
Yeah, he's done that all year, using that strength to get to the rim.
Thomas right back at him. Short this time. Defensive rebound. Phillip kicks it back to Carter. No. But there is Adrian. Tap Williams. And a foul. Got him on the elbow. We've got a timeout. Mountaineers lead it by 1.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Fidelity Investments.
A night with Joey Brockets, I could tell. A couple of stats are working in West Virginia's favor. That's the number of turnovers. Iowa State has turned it over 7 times. Points off turnovers 8 for West Virginia in that sequence. And also that rebounding, which has plagued Iowa State a little bit. They're being out-rebounded in this game, 17-11 so far. Adrian knocks down the free throw, and it's a 2-point Mountaineer lead with 3:30 to go.
And remember, Brent, last 2 games, West Virginia has forced less than 10 turnovers.
That would have been an easy walk-in hoop for Nader, but the pass was too high. And there is the 8th Iowa State turnover here of the first half.
Even when they don't shoot well, the fact that they turn you over and crush you on the offensive glass gives them more field goal attempts, 12 more, in fact, per game.
Spin move by Meyer, and Williams blocked by McKay. A beautiful block, but Page saved it. Here's Carter. Adrian's three. Yes, good.
Red hot. Since Holton went out, he's made 13 of 19. Holton was suspended for 4 games. Adrian's picked up the slack.
My friend, they have 10 offensive rebounds here in the first half.
In that last game in Ames, Brent, they dominated the offensive glass.
Nader's three, and Niang underneath on a putback. Myers thought he was shoved out of the way. Coming down to 2:20 here.
Cyclones staying in that 2-3 zone, daring West Virginia to shoot the ball, but you're susceptible to the offensive glass in the zone because you don't have a particular player to box out.
Myers tosses it up, and again, one of the big fellows, Williams, and he'll be back on the free throw line. Devin Williams is a workhorse. One of the workhorses of the Big 12 Conference.
Yep, without a question. Just a junior from Cincinnati. He had 18 rebounds in that first meeting. In that first meeting, Brent, West Virginia rebounded 50% of their own missed shots. The national average is 30%. So that's a huge discrepancy.
And West Virginia's put up 41 points for Coach Huggins here in the first half. That's a high-scoring half for West Virginia.
Well, remember, one of the bugaboos of Iowa State's lack of depth is they have not guarded well in Big 12 play.
Now, I think it's amazing that I've watched West Virginia play a half with only 3 personal fouls here so far. It's been a good-looking West Virginia team here tonight. Effective forcing turnovers without fouling. Niang caught Burton breaking. And speaking of fouls, he will shoot a pair of free throws. Adrian looks like he might have nicked that hand a little bit.
Not a lot of teams in the country that have a 6'8" power forward who handle the ball like Niang in the open floor.
Reminder that NBA Wednesday got a doubleheader. Starts at 8 Eastern. The Wizards will take on the Chicago Bulls, the former Iowa State head coach Fred Hoiberg now with the Bulls, and then the Spurs and the Kings. That'll be your nightcap.
The Bulls got that Ames High School connection. Not only Fred Hoiberg, but Doug McDermott.
So it's 41-38, 143. Down on the inside, that's on Niang, I believe. Yes, it is. Trying to hold out his man, and Fran, Nathan Adrian still having trouble with that hand. He's shaking it, looking at it.
And will stay on the floor. The young man from Morgantown High School.
Great feed to Page. Page drives on the inbounds pass, and it's 43-38. Looking to sweep Iowa State this year. Carter on Morris, and Carter fouled him.
West Virginia foul call number 2, Javon Carter. Picks up his second personal. 5th.
2 fouls to Carter means little to Bob Huggins because he's got so much depth.
Miles returns. That is the 5th team foul. on West Virginia, 6 on Iowa State.
These two guards, Page and Phillip, Brent, two of the more underrated backcourts in all of college basketball.
Over the top to Nader. Goes to work on Miles. Williams came in, kind of slipped in and double teamed it. And it was effective there at the end. 5-point lead. Mountaineers with the basketball.
Can I tell you, when West Virginia signed all these guards, I had never heard of any of them. I think I follow recruiting pretty well, but these guys fit right into that West Virginia style. They are good players.
Seven on the shot. Adrian spins. Short. Page stays with it and one. Couple of offensive rebounds. Made the second one, and he'll move to the free throw line. Dominating offensive glass here.
Look at that.
Big difference in this game.
210 pounds, 6'2". Jaysean Page grew up in the Bronx, Brent, a couple different high schools. Finished up at Mobley in Missouri, the home of the great Mitch Richmond.
Played at Kansas State. Played for Coach Kruger out there.
Yep.
Into an Elite Eight. Eliminated by Danny and the Miracles. 46-38 now, coming down to the last 30 seconds here. They strip him. Phillip on the turnover. Miles looking to spot cross court. Here's Page. Page the three. Yes! Oh, what a first half for Page and the Mountaineers. Nader from the corner responds. Gets 3 of them back.
Oh, they had too much time. He shot it early.
And now it'll be Morris working against the clock. Long three. No.
Your halftime score,
An 8-point West Virginia lead. They had led it by 11 at one point. Jaysean Page puts up 17 points. But offensive rebounds, that's the story. 13 for West Virginia to only 2 for Iowa State. Now let's send you to the Chief halftime report. Here's Carl Ravitch. Carl.
Hi, Brent, my friend. Thank you very much.
Big Monday, presented by Delta. Great halftime show. Bill Camp's Rescue Dogs. What a flying circus that was. And West Virginia put on a clinic as far as offensive rebounds were concerned. And Fran, with March around the corner, let's take a look at who's taking flight, brought to you by Delta.
Oh, yeah, Jaysean Page, one of the more underrated players in the country. Take a look, dominating on the glass. He's more known for the outside shooting. Watch the relentless pressure by West Virginia in that first half. Tariq Phillip, Miles, and then Page with the rainmaker. 17. He's a career high as 25, Brent. Right on course.
You know, Fran, we've done both these teams several times this year, but never did I feel that the depth that Bob Huggins has really worn down Iowa State.
And that's been the formula. When they've been healthy all year, Brent, depth is the key word. And partly what that does is it forces turnovers, and they crush you on the offensive glass. And look at that, 16 more field goal attempts in the first half for the Mountaineers.
Iowa State with the first possession here of the second half, trailing it by 8. Interestingly, in that first half, Iowa State shot better than 57%. However, they took 26 shots to 42 for West Virginia, which shows you the value of the offensive glass. And Niang drives, and he'll be on the free throw line here early in the second half. Looks like he took a blow around the left eye.
Banged heads with Nathan Adrian. I just heard from the Mountaineer Maniacs behind us that they were reminding George Niang right in front of our announce table that he is the bum of the game.
That's the second time. He feels very honored. He also received it last year.
Yes.
It isn't often that you can win 2 bums here at Morgantown. You know?
Jonathan Holton checks into the foul game.
Adrian's had a tough night. A little bit of a nicked up hand in the first half, and now blow to the nose, it appears. So they're going to huddle up.
Everybody clap your hands.
The blood is being mopped up from the bloody nose.
Doing a little housekeeping right now.
Gives us a chance to take a look at the standings. Kansas headed for a possible 12th consecutive championship, an amazing record. They're #1 in the RPI. Oklahoma, of course, lost 2 of their 5 games to Kansas, 1 in Lawrence, and then the other one back down in Norman.
So, Brent, who's the coach of the year in the Big 12 right now?
Well, if we look past Bill Self, which we frequently do, okay, I'm going to go to Lubbock, Texas.
Okay.
And Tubby Smith, the job he has done over there. The Red Raiders, according to Joey Brockets, we're going to hear from Joy a little bit later in this half, and he's got them included now, and that would be the 8th team, right,
yes.
Fran?
17 Texas Tech. You know what, you want to hear my 2 cents on that? I think Tubby Smith's going to be the coach of the year, and I think Bill Self will be in the Hall of Fame within 5 years. So it all evens out.
Deserves it.
Yeah, it evens out.
Turns around. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, there's a guy over here by the name of Huggy Bear. He's moving up on getting close to 800 wins, too.
Exactly. Yep. I would prefer coaches go into the Hall of Fame after their careers are over, but I get it, and Bob Huggins certainly deserved it.
So Carter brings the ball down for Huggins Mountaineers right now. They have 6-point advantage. Myers with Morris on him. Morris committed to defense, and there's a foul as he spun toward the hoop, and it is on Morris. That's that's his second personal.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about this kid Myers, Brent, because he didn't play much early in the year, but junior college transfer. He didn't get to go on their foreign trip, and he enrolled in school in September, so he got a late start. But Bob Huggins starting him now because Daxter Miles was injured. But great smile, great teammate, and he's getting an opportunity to contribute. Another one of those junior college guys. Numbers speak for themselves. Williston State, you know, it's one of the 2 states I have not been in.
You have not been to North Dakota.
North Dakota, Alaska, North Dakota.
Alaska, North Dakota.
Yep.
Well, on the way to Montana when you come and see me.
I will. Stop. Yep.
Morris drives down at the other end.
He's so good at that. He's so good at using that rim to protect his shot.
You know, it's interesting because the Cyclone team very rested right now after the halftime intermission, and they come out here a little bit fresher than how they finished the first half. They trail it by 6, and deflected pass, ball out of bounds. It'll go over.
Yeah, Holton touched the glass. Ahmad tried to sneak that pass through.
And Jayshawn Page, he of that monstrous first half, checks in for West Virginia. Get it into Burton's hands. Nader spot 3. Yes, rattles in, and here come the Cyclones.
And Nader's got he's got some real estate in that left corner. He knows right where to go in transition. Well, the question now is, can West Virginia keep scoring, and can Iowa State play some defense?
Williams is knocked down. Collision with Burton, and the foul is going to go on Burton.
Iowa State foul ball number 30, Deontay Burton is first.
You know, I was checking, Brent, the numbers in the Big 12, and right now Monte Morris playing over 40 minutes a game. Matt Thomas 37, Niang 35.
Here's Page. Nader, well aware of what kind of a first half he had. Alertly trying to stay with number 5.
Oh, there's a steal.
Reaching out is Burton, coming in on Williams with the steal. Yes, a steal and a basket for Burton, the transfer from Marquette, who sat out last year. Impressive as the Cyclones pull to within 1.
And it's been pretty good defense to start this half for Iowa State.
Holton from the corner, no. Battle Nader down with the rebound. Puts it back into Burton's hands. The big fella can handle it. Thomas ships now. Niang quickly whips it outside. Lob. Burton almost had a spectacular hoop. Morris digs it out. Here's Thomas. Up over the top. The three is good, and Iowa State leads it 53-51.
You know, I hope Big 12 coaches are paying attention when they fill out those ballots, because Matt Thomas has played at an all-league level this year. He's at least an honorable mention player, but he's done it all year.
Page off the dribble.
How about that?
Good move on Nader that time. Shook him. Got himself just enough daylight, and Thomas runs the floor. He's cut off by Williams. Thomas spots again. Not this time, but Nader with an offensive rebound. Battles back and fouled. Myers was closing in on him.
Yep, Iowa State showing a lot of toughness to start this second half. They're getting it done on both ends. And take a look at this steal, Brent. You know this move right here at the end, the little Ginobili Euro step part? That's just part of the basketball landscape now. 7, 8 years ago, officials would have called that a travel because it was an unusual move, but well done there by the transfer from Marquette. These guys can score, Brent, can't they?
Yes, they can in bunches, and they have here. Trailing by 8 at the half. They now lead it by 2.
Good
Whipped
cut.
into Page, and he missed a gimme.
He shot that ball with his left hand.
Burton.
Nice.
Puts it on the deck. Wouldn't stay down, and then he battles Williams, and it'll go over to West Virginia. We're going to take a break. We're coming back. Special treat. It is time to be thinking brackets. And while Joey and I were talking, Fran, you got the officials to explain what the delay was all about.
Yes, we had a little extracurricular activity going on at that last time out, George Niang. After this free throw, now it's a dead ball contact technical, Brent, which means any West Virginia player can shoot this. And so that's why you see Phillip. Now take a look. You're going to see Niang. And right, well, couldn't see it there, but he popped the guy below the belt. And it's also a personal foul, and West Virginia will get this ball at midcourt.
So Niang will take a seat. Now let's stay with this and watch what happens. Whoa, yes. How do you do? Oh, I can see that's. Yes.
Page.
Yeah, I can see why that tee was called. How about you folks at home, huh? Here we go now.
Yep, Phillip said, woo.
Deadlocked at 55. I think that's why we censored that first replay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
stand for
understand.
that. I had to see it.
But tell the kids to go in the other room.
Here's Burton now on the outside with a three. Knocks it on down. That big fella has become a player for the Cyclones.
Absolutely. He's a mini Niang, really, is what he is, because he can score in all the ways Niang did. And of course, Niang's got 3 now. And the question is, can West Virginia keep scoring at this rate?
Page got inside, kind of lost the handle, didn't he? It looked like he was going to have daylight, that he's double teamed. They seal him up, and they force a turnover. So on the violation on the possession, it looked like for a moment that he was going to have an easy drive to the basket. I think he just lost the handle a little bit.
Yep, they closed up quickly. Wow, that's another turnover by Monte Morris.
That's very unusual for him.
I think that might be his 4th of the night. That never happens. Of course, he doesn't see this kind of pressure either most nights.
Williams up high. Battle for the rebound. Stay right here. There's going to be a foul on Iowa State. That's on McKay. Jameel McKay.
Iowa State foul call to number 1, Jameel McKay.
Yep, I think that's 3 now for McKay. And this is, Brent, where Iowa State gets into danger zone. 14 minutes plus. McKay 3, Niang 3, no depth.
And Niang has already taken a seat.
I'd go right at McKay next offensive possession for West Virginia.
Take it inside.
Yeah.
Williams who spins. Misfired on the shot. Holton, though, with an offensive rebound. And finally, Thomas clears it away for the Cyclones. Here comes Burton again on the drive. Kick corner and out of bounds. Turned it over.
Well, Burton came full speed. He found Nader, who's been red hot, but Nader stepped out of bounds. You know, when you think of Iowa State, Brent, they have 6 losses in the league, all by 5 points or less, and 3 in overtime on the road. For the travel.
Nader, and ball gets away from him, and he was out of bounds with it. They say he touched it. So West Virginia basketball and a fresh 30.
Watch the pressure here by Nader. He comes up with it, but then the harassment of Phillip. Phillip is one of the best defensive guards in this whole league. Shows it every night.
Inside to Holton. Beautiful feed from Phillip.
And that's because Phillip can shoot it so well. You had to honor him, and Holton slipped inside. Holton's had a good senior year. He's been active.
Now Nader from that corner, rattled out. And the crowd serenading him here in Morgantown. Phillip tied up, gets it into Holton, left hand and one. It's on Burton, the foul.
And this guy, Jonathan Holton, last year he averaged almost 4 fouls a game. He's smarter this year. You see the slip to the basket, but this is where he really earns his money. Scoring inside, he's a great offensive rebounder, and the effort inside right there rewarded with 3.
And a 2-point West Virginia lead as a result of that. It looked like, was that Phillip Holding coming back?
Yep.
Yes, it was. Well, Super Tuesday again, presented by Hotels.com, 7 Eastern. It'll be Alabama and Kentucky. That'll be followed at 9. Michigan State taking on Ohio State in Columbus. Denzel Valentine having a terrific year. He figures to be the player of the year in the Big Ten, doesn't he, Fran?
Yeah, he does, but I got to tell you that Jared Utah from Iowa also right there with him.
You're right.
Yep. Both of those guys, probably the 2 leading candidates. Good pressure right there. Denzel still in the picture for National Player of the Year, although in my mind, Buddy Hield is the front runner.
Thomas travels out, but Nader hustles for the rebound, and they give it up. Here comes West Virginia. Adrian, no, missed everything. Iowa State basketball. Down by 2, they go to Trap Morris, and he gets it up now to Thomas. Thomas has got Nader. Nader top.
Oh, nice.
Stuffs it. And the crowd chanting Nader will be quiet just a moment as Coach Prohm calls a timeout. We're deadlocked at 60. It's the Big 12, and it's baskets like this that have made this conference so entertaining all year long.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball, and Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Morgantown, West Virginia, 12:54 remaining in regulation, deadlocked at 60. Iowa State and West Virginia. Remember that first half discrepancy, offensive rebounds 13-3. Well, here so far in the second half are even, dead even at 3 apiece. Iowa State working much harder on the glass.
You got Niang back with 3 fouls. McKay as well.
Macon swings in, and great block by McKay.
But I like that. If I were Bob Huggins, I'd go at McKay and Niang. Niang's not going to foul you. He needs to stay on the floor. He's not going to pick up his fourth.
Nader on Phillip, and here comes Page. Gets inside of Thomas. Couldn't finish, and there's going to be a foul against Adrian.
Number 11, Adrian called for the first one. His third.
Strong rebound by Niang.
That's Adrian's third, so he will leave the game, and Holton replaces him.
Watch Holton on the ball now, Brent.
Carter picks up Morris. They get it back into Niang's hands, and Niang quickly to the attack, and Thomas pulls it back out. Here's Niang now. Jump hook, yes. One of his better shots, and he has always had that weapon.
Absolutely. Shot that over Holton, who's got that 7-foot wingspan. It's almost automatic, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Phillips three, yes. Bingo.
Nader fell asleep.
Is leading.
Yep, Nader fell asleep, and Phillip just took a rhythm three. These guards are so good for West Virginia. Most fans don't know who they are. They just run them in and out.
Bad pass by Niang. Another turnover. Mountaineers. 1-point turnover. John Carter picked up a technical foul at the end of this play, and he has every reason to be unhappy about this. Watch him. He's going to jaw now at Niang, okay? After Niang tosses the ball out of bounds, there'll be a little trash talking right there. That's simply just looking for trouble, okay? And the technical was called on the young man, his third foul of this game. So he'll sit down. And Fran, how is the penalty on this one assessed?
Right, this is just a straight up Class A technical foul, which means 2 free throws for Iowa State, but West Virginia will maintain possession of the ball. Excuse me, yes, because they have the ball. So it's going to be 2 free throws, point of interruption, which means West Virginia will get the ball out of bounds. I understand what you're saying. They're officiating emotion out of the game, but every coach and player knows that that's how these officials are calling it in January and February, Brent.
Thomas knocks down both free throws, and Iowa State leads it 64-63. The ball belongs to West Virginia.
Now, there was no contact by Carter, which is why it's not a dead ball contact technical foul. They would have lost possession of the ball, West Virginia, in that case.
Feed to Macon, and he'll be on a free throw line shooting 2. Is this on McKay? McKay's got his hands up, indicating that he thinks it's on him. Looking up at the monitor, and that's number 4 on Jameel McKay.
And this is exactly the reason that Iowa State has found itself in the predicament they've had in Big 12 play. Lack of depth.
So Jameel with 4 fouls is going to go over to
checks in for Iowa State.
Coach Prohm's bench.
Now, there was a game, Brent, early in the year, Texas Tech at Iowa State. George Niang picked up 3 in the first half. They squandered a big lead, and it's been a problem all conference long.
Deadlocked at 64. That's on Miles.
This is a little bit more like the West Virginia team we're used to, but even at the 11-minute mark, they're not in the bonus yet.
Burton thought about it. Attacks
How about
and
this
one.
guy? Yep. Mismatch. That's what he is. No matter where you put him on the floor, he has a mismatch. He's 250. He can play inside. He's graceful for his size. You're going to have him in the NFL before long. But he's a pretty good basketball player right here. I think there's a business here for us, Brent.
Tight Ends Incorporated.
Yeah, exactly.
Down to the 11-minute mark. Iowa State up by 3. Thomas is on Page. Phillip outside for the tie.
I'm just telling you, Phillip and Page, they can light it up. They come off the bench.
Morris knocked out of bounds. Good defense underneath. Devin Williams. Uh-oh. See a little. Ooh.
I mentioned he's playing 40 minutes a game in conference play. It's actually over 40 because they've had 3 overtime games. That's one guy they don't have a replacement for.
Niang comes down to baseline.
I loved it. You know what he did? He went away from the double team. Morris hobbling a little bit, Brent.
No question. Hobbled all the way back down. Here comes Page. Williams, Burton on him. They play 2-man. Page gets it back. Pull up Jay over Thomas.
Remember, in some games that Iowa State's lost, they've left Niang out of the equation.
Burton will come to the free throw line. Took a blow. He'll shoot a pair.
What do you think of Burton? Pretty good, huh?
Impressive.
Hard to guard.
A couple of games in a row now. When McKay didn't play in their last game, he was the star. And for the second, I believe it's the second week this year, he's been named the newcomer
Exactly.
of the Big 12 of the league. And I don't think there's been any other newcomer. I might have missed one, but I think that's his second award.
I think he'll be the newcomer of the year in the league.
Substitution checking in for Mountaineers, Nate Avery.
Well, Iowa State has to fight a little fatigue, some fouls. They've got a 2-point lead, and there's still half of the second half remaining here in regulation.
They're going to try to spread the floor now with those 3 guards.
Miles gives it up to Page. Adrian pops out. And here's the third one, Phillip. 4 on the shot, pull it up 3, yes!
Oh, yeah.
Knocks down another one. West Virginia leads it by 1.
You watch West Virginia, no surprise. These guards can score, Phillip and Page.
Thomas back at you, misses into Holton's hands. That pass by Page, and Morris trying to play through the pain, came down the floor gracefully that time, so maybe he's able to play through it here.
You know what he's about. He'll play through it.
Niang into Burton. Burton misses the bunny. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be Iowa State basketball.
Boy, that little deflection by Morris with that 6'4" wingspan saved a fast break. I want you to watch those Iowa State players, Brent, because fatigue will be a factor this last 8 minutes.
No question. Coach Huggins keeping fresh players out. Phillip on the drive, and there's a whistle and a foul. Morris gimpy again, Fran, and he's really playing through some pain out there because he's so valuable to this team. That's a situation where Coach Crum, he looks in the other direction.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But I got to tell you, Morris is not looking over at Crum either.
No, that's true.
Yep.
Adrian digs it out.
He's become a garbage man for sure, along with Holton.
So some major foul problems facing Iowa State here. Niang and Morris each with 3. McKay with 4. And Tayshaun Page coming to the free throw line.
Yep.
Nader picks up his second.
Watch the strength, Brent. You're talking 6'2", 210, built like a fire hydrant in the Bronx. And he just takes it right through the taller Thomas. This is not an aberration. When these West Virginia guards are healthy, they do this every night.
Three-point play and a 4-point lead.
And they're going to hound Morris, take the ball out of his hands.
Nader comes back, stayed with that, makes it a 2-point basketball game at the 8:10 mark. There's Page battling in again, and another whistle. It's on Burton. So we've got a timeout just inside 8 minutes, and West Virginia up by 2.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented.
Virginia and Iowa State could be headed for a Game 3 in Kansas City.
You know, I said the other day, if you're not a rooter of any one team in the country and you're a college basketball fan, Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament should be on your bucket list.
No question. Another one I would recommend, Las Vegas. 3 tournaments out there.
Yes.
West Coast,
Yep.
they go up early. And the Orleans, the Pac-12 at the MGM, and of course the Mountain West at the Thomas and Mack Center. That is a terrific week too. And then you can stay for the first week of March Madness.
And you told me that's a pretty special place, right?
It is indeed. Page knocks it down, and it's a 4-point West Virginia lead, 75-71.
See, even if they don't turn Morris over here, they're wearing him down with this pressure, and they can do this with the depth.
Thomas back to help out, and there's the trap, and they've got to use a timeout.
Timeout, Iowa State.
Now,
21 on that shot clock right now, so they've got to get it up in a second. They got to pass it up into the front court. Fran, what do they have to do?
Nope. Because he took a timeout, Brent, he doesn't. They don't have to. They get a fresh 10. Now, if West Virginia had deflected or kicked it out of bounds, the clock would remain. But because he called a timeout in the backcourt, they get a fresh 10. A lot of people think exactly what you were saying, that if you call a timeout in the backcourt, you should only have the 1 second to get it over.
Alert move by Thomas.
Very alert move, but it also burns one of the 2 timeouts they had left.
So Iowa State left with 1 as the result of it. And after we wrap it up here, John Anderson and Steve Levy, they have highlights and scores from college hoops. A couple of big wins tonight. Miami over Virginia. How about the Texas Longhorns?
Oh, man, how about that? Going on the road in a tough place. Bramlage Coliseum. And we'll see the Longhorns at home next Monday night against Kansas.
Four-point West Virginia lead. Morris comes through. The floater cuts it in half. 7.5 minutes.
You see that 2-3 zone again, in part to conserve energy, also to try to keep Niang from getting that 4th foul.
Miles, shot clock inside at 10, and here's Page. Just pulled it right up on Nader and nailed it again. He's headed for a career night here. That's 26 points, 10 of 17 for the field.
He is so money and so underrated nationally. I bet after tonight, with enough people watching Page and Phillip, they'll appreciate those 2 guys.
Doors open. Nader, no, rattled out and into Phillip's hands.
It's a good look and a good find by Morris.
Time down to 6.5.
Iowa State matching up a little bit out of that zone.
Adrian, and there's a blocking foul, and that is number 4 on Niang.
Smart move by Adrian.
Iowa State foul whistle to number
So here comes
31,
McKay back into the game. He's saddled with 4. So major foul problems as we predicted. Burton with 3, Morris with 3. Both McKay and Niang plagued with 4s. There have been 17 fouls called on Iowa State to 13 on West Virginia.
Nathan Adrian had a huge smile on his face when that whistle blew, because he knew he was going to get Niang out of the game for the next couple minutes.
Carter returns for West Virginia. Miles is sitting, and Niang goes out at the 6:27 mark at a 4-point deficit for the Cyclones.
Watch how they do it. If they can double Morris, they will, just to take it out of his hands. There it is.
Thomas, great ball fake. Wouldn't stay down. And McKay will come to the free throw line. On the rebound, he was dueling against a smaller Page, and Page fouled him.
And he got inside. Thomas has been right on that rim. Can't get him to drop, but McKay got good position.
Should be on the McKay at the line for Iowa State shooting team.
Another one coming.
Devin Williams checks in for the Mountaineers.
Iowa State in the bonus and West Virginia in the double bonus.
That's big. That guy shoots about 53% from the line. 2 big ones. I think they're going to stay in that zone. Well, they're going to go man.
6-minute mark here. 3-point advantage. Page, and he is fouled. Nader.
Iowa State calls on number 2, Abdul Nader. Second.
Well, this is a guy that one of those unsung guys that has put West Virginia back into contention. Remember, Brent, first 2 years in the Big 12, they really struggled. Bob Huggins went and got a bunch of junkyard dogs, and he's the leader of the pack. You know what he's doing right now? He knows they can't guard him because they're not going to foul. He's just putting his head down. I think we could make this guy a fullback.
So a career high with that free throw. 27 points.
Think he's got some fullback in him, maybe? H-back?
Safety. He's got some spunk.
He sure
Mountaineers
does.
up by 5 inside of 6 minutes.
Look at the intensity on Phillip guarding Morris.
Nader, critical, knocks the 3 ball down.
Great penetration by Morris again.
Already higher scoring than the experts thought it would be. Great pass into Williams, and Williams stays right with it. Down toward that 5-minute mark with a 4-point lead. Nader comes around Morris. Thomas with 3 on the shot. Nader's going to have to fire. And it goes into Carter's hands.
And with these 3 guards, Bob Huggins is going to spread it out And one of those guards are likely to attack off the dribble. He did this to Kansas when we were here.
What a night. A 30-point game for Page here tonight. 11 of 18 from the field. He's hit a 3-ball, handled the ball beautifully. Burton can't get it to fall, and it's a held ball situation, and it will go over to West Virginia. Up by 6 inside of 4 minutes to play. Jayshawn Page with a 30-point explosion. The 6th man of the year, Jayshawn Page, with half of the 60 bench points. 10 different players, Fran, have scored for West Virginia tonight. Now, what can Iowa State answer with here?
Well, they're going to bring Niang back, and they're going to try to get into some flow, but they're not going to win this game if they don't stop the 3 guards that West Virginia has, because they're just taking them off the dribble. We saw them do this early in the year to Kansas, so it's as much about Iowa State's defense right now and trying to keep Page and Phillip and Carter out of the paint.
West Virginia came into this game having lost 3 of their last 4, so a little more urgency with them. Iowa State, on the other hand, has been going back and forth. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So it's 84-78 as we come inside that 4-minute mark.
And you see Iowa State going to the zone to try to stop that dribble penetration.
And here's Page again. This one rattled out, but Williams digs it out, comes back. Another offensive rebound and hoop for Devin Williams. And West Virginia in control right now, up 8. Knocked away from Niang, loose ball, regains it. Morris has to slip it into Nader inside. Scores and no foul. The crowd thought it was an offensive. Back down, it's back to 6 at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, Don Daly said he's not going to give him that one. He thought Adrian flopped.
Phillip, 3-ball. Make it a 9-point Mountaineer advantage. Niang to McKay, and we're back to 7. Iowa State uses a timeout.
And that's their last one.
You know, Fran, well, I've got a minute. You know, the president of West Virginia, Gordon Gee, is a guy who has such a background. And I guess what I didn't realize is that back in earlier, he had spent time here. And then he went on, of course, to lead the University of Colorado, Brown, Vanderbilt, twice president of Ohio State. There's the man in the bow tie. He's a great sports fan. I have to tell you that comes to all the games, usually drops by and says hello. And look at that. Matching glasses.
Yeah.
With the,
I think he's got to like the fact that Huggy Bear is back at his alma mater.
And he likes also looking around here and seeing all the fannies in the seats in Morgantown.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially with a 9 o'clock start tonight.
Yeah, exactly. The people down at Charleston found it a little bit difficult. So to come and then have to drive back home and go to work as you see the standings. And a win here tonight would move the Mountaineers into 2nd place. They've split the season series with Kansas. And a win would also sweep the series against Iowa State. It was rather interesting. They went to the Hilton Coliseum and they silenced the Magic 81-76 behind Devin Williams with 17 points, 18 rebounds. And then here tonight, Page comes off the bench and has a career night with 30 points.
Now, and it's a little deceiving that he comes off the bench because he does play like a starter, but it speaks to that great depth that the Mountaineers have.
The John Havlicek.
How about
the
that?
Big 12.
Yeah.
Phillip spots, no. Battle rebound. McKay's got it now.
I thought that shot was a little quick for Phillip. He'd been feeling it, but didn't use any clock.
Depending on the time of day that you looked, Mountaineers were favored by 6. Morris with a floater. Won't stay. Yanked away by Williams.
Those three guards now can control this last 2 minutes. I think if you're Iowa State, you have to go man, but the problem is they do not force turnovers out of their man-to-man defense.
Page forced back out to the perimeter. Pull up into Niang's hands. Nader outside. Williams with a defensive rebound. And a minute and a half to go.
Sometimes you lose games in this league, not because you're not playing well, but because of the competition. Every night in this league has been games like this.
Adrian coming down that baseline inside, yes. That's a 9-point lead for the Mountaineers.
Niang didn't want to foul him. He's got those 4.
Spins. McKay comes back up out of bounds. Cyclone basketball 18 on the shot, 105 on the game.
Well, you showed those standings, Brent. Those top 7 teams in the league have won 86% of their non-conference games. So losing to good teams is going to happen a lot in this league.
They turn it over and then they force the foul. And the Mountaineers closing in on a big win here in Morgantown. If you fans have a chance to go to Kansas City for the tournament, it is going to be something this year.
Devin Williams at the free throw line for the Mountaineers, shooting 2.
Sold out from what I've been told, but no surprise. Well, they had no Miles at Texas. Page got hurt at Texas. Miles didn't play Saturday against Oklahoma, but this is the West Virginia team that goes 11 deep.
Double dribble. The crowd may have started out chanting Niang's name, but they are finishing chanting Nader's name.
Of course, they know that Nader takes those selfies in the mirror, right?
Beautiful pass. 32 for the man of the match. Morris misfires. This is safely in the W column for the Mountaineers. 5th foul. Niang will take a seat. There is no doubt who tonight's player of the match is. Brought to you by Phillips 66. Jayshawn Page, averaging 15 points a game in conference play, puts up 32. He doubled his output. An amazing performance, leading the way. And Fran Fraschilla has pointed out several times how good these guards are. Another one, Phillip, is at the free throw line. Meanwhile, against this defense, Niang held to 14 points before he fouled out.
Absolutely. They swarmed him tonight. And still think, Brent, that this Iowa State team, without the depth, it's been a big factor. This is the largest loss they'll suffer in conference play.
And the Mountaineers put up 95 here tonight. Thomas responds with a 3-point hoop to make it a 10-point game at the 35-second mark. Burton steals it, and now we've got an 8-point game. Some baskets become more important than others. Loose ball out of bounds. It's going to go over the Mountaineers on the far side, and the Mountaineers are going to call a timeout and talk about it.
Bob Huggins told us all weekend, of course I was here Saturday for that game against Oklahoma.
Are you going to vote in the West Virginia primary?
Yeah, I think I will. By the way, pretty good restaurants in Morgantown.
Yeah,
right?
we had a good time, didn't we?
We did.
Where was that wine house we found last night?
Oh, don't tell my wife that.
No, okay. Maggie had an iced tea. I cover for you, buddy.
I got you.
Well, let's remind you again, this is just the start of a great week of college hoops. Alabama, Kentucky. That will be the SEC game. That'll start off at 7 p.m. Then the Big Ten game, Michigan State, Ohio State. Fran, your thought about Kentucky right now?
Well, Tyler Ulis, that backcourt is as good as there is in the country. You know, we talk about Oklahoma. We love Oklahoma's backcourt. We see them so much. Kentucky right there with them. They've got to get good inside play night in, night out. But that backcourt's sensational with Briscoe, Murray, and, of course, Tyler Ulis, who's just a phenomenal player.
McKay covers up that inbounds pass and did a great job. And Iowa State goes to the trap on Page, and a foul is going to be called. I thought for a minute that they were going to get a turnover on that because they had him covered up over there on that side.
Well, you know why Page didn't pass that ball, right? Because he's trying to get to 34 right now.
He's also trying to get McKay fouled out of the game, which he was able to do.
Checking in for Iowa State, number 3.
A familiar chant. That's as old as hoops.
Oh, yeah. Left, right. And the guy knows that he doesn't sit down. Or he fakes to sit down, right?
And there is 33.
I believe that's why he didn't pass the ball, Brent.
So you think he's
just adding to the total. And why not? Brilliant night.
And there's your 34, Frank. And a 10-point margin at the 23-second mark. Safely in the W column. Cook, who is checked in, the floater, 7 seconds remaining, and that's going to do it. A 10-point W for Coach Bob Huggins and West Virginia. And Huggins has now tied Lefty Driesell and Cliff Ellis for 9th place all time on the Division I winningest coaches list. He, of course, is the 4th winningest active coach behind only Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Boeheim, and Cliff Ellis. So congratulations to Bob Huggins, his 786th victory. Coming up next, Sports Center. For Fran Fraschilla, I'm Brent Musburger saying so long from Morgantown, West Virginia, where the Mountaineers sweep the season from Iowa State.
All right, Brent, Fran, thanks very much. West Virginia's now won 8 of their last 10 home games against ranked teams, but they're not the fastest team in college basketball history to 21 victories, which is the